Today, our story takes us to the foothills of the Dandenongs, Australia. The Dandenongs is a popular tourist destination and is home to beautiful scenery and has a population of just 100,000. One evening on the 7th of August 1993, Kelly Cahill and her husband Andrew were driving in the mountains towards their friend's home. It was a little after 7 p.m. and it was dark outside. The two were chatting while listening to the radio. Then, while looking out of the window, Kelly noticed a ring of orange lights hovering over a nearby field. The lights seemed to pulsate and spin around in a circular motion. Kelly observed the craft, and her husband, Andrew, glanced over and was equally as confused. They then drove out of sight of the strange lights, and later brushed it off as a possible helicopter or different military aircraft. They then shortly arrived at their friend's house and enjoyed a fun evening together playing bingo. It was getting late, and they left their friend's house at 11:45 and began to drive back to their homes. As they were approaching the road near the field where they saw the strange orange lights previously, they once again witnessed the object. However, now it was hovering above the road. They drove very slowly and approached the craft. The UFO was circular and was shiny and metallic. It had several orange lights around the center, and Kelly assumed it was the same one she witnessed earlier. Andrew couldn't take his eyes off the craft and could make out silhouettes of small beings through the upper half of the UFO, which seemed to have something resembling a window. At this point, Kelly and her husband Andrew were getting scared and weren't sure what to do. Andrew then decided to drive off at speed. Then, a few moments later, a blinding white light engulfed the vehicle. The next thing they recall, they were sat in the car further down the road, and the UFO was nowhere to be seen. Both Andrew and Kelly were scared and anxious, and after a nervous drive home, arrived back to their house at 2:30 a.m. Somehow, the 90-minute journey took them 2 hours and 45 minutes. The two discussed the situation, searching for possible explanations before heading to bed. Kelly then had a nightmare. She dreamed of a small, large-eyed being leaning over her while she lay there, unable to move. She then suddenly woke with a sharp, searing pain in her lower abdomen. Upon inspection, she pulled back her pajama top and noticed a small triangular mark on her lower stomach. The pain in her lower abdomen continued for several days and seemed to be getting worse. Eventually, Kelly had enough and then went to the hospital. After a battery of tests to determine what the problem was, the doctor came to the conclusion that she had a womb infection. The doctor then asked her if she had recently had surgery. After Kelly informed the doctor that she hadn't had any surgery, the doctor was somewhat shocked, as this was the only conclusion that he could reach. For weeks, the pain continued, as did her nightmares about the strange beings. On several occasions, she would wake up in the middle of the night and see shadows of short, big-headed creatures in her bedroom. Her husband, Andrew, tried to make sense of what his wife was experiencing, but felt hopeless. He then suggested that Kelly undergo hypnosis. Kelly, somewhat skeptical, agreed, and under hypnosis, she relived the events of that night and recalled details about what exactly did happen. She recalled being strapped to a metallic table while several beings examined them and took various samples of their blood and skin tissue. She also recalled the beings as being greyish in appearance, with large black eyes and gangly features. After several months, the visitations stopped, and so did her nightmares. She eventually wrote a book about her experience and even appeared on TV to tell her story.
I saw what I thought was round orange lights in the field. It had the shape of a blimp, but it was light. As we got closer to it, the light seemed to sort of separate, and it was actually these a row of round lights, and they were orange. It appeared like there was silhouettes standing in these round orange circles, like people, but you could only see the black outline. Well, I just said to my husband, look, there's people in there.
This is indeed an interesting case, and many believe it to be one of Australia's most fascinating UFO and alien stories. Did Kelly really get abducted by alien beings? Was she and her husband really visited by aliens? Let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.